Welcome, my friend. You're here for a reason. Maybe life feels heavy right now. Maybe the world is loud and you're searching for something solid, something that won't break when everything else does. In this space, we talk about that kind of strength. Not the kind that shouts, not the kind that hides feelings, but the quiet strength of a mind that no storm can shake. Today's lesson might just change the way you see everything. And if you stay with me until the very end, I have something special for you. Something that will help you go even deeper on this path. So take a breath, settle in, and let's begin. Lesson 1. Freedom begins with yourself. Have you ever stopped to notice how unpredictable life is? The weather changes without asking you. Markets rise and fall without your consent. People praise you today and criticize you tomorrow. The world moves in ways you cannot command, and yet there is one thing that will always remain within your control: yourself. Your thoughts, your choices, your responses. And that is where real freedom begins. We live in a culture obsessed with control. We try to control how others see us, how our careers unfold, how every piece of life fits into the puzzle we imagine. But the truth, most of those pieces were never yours to move in the first place. And when we cling to them, when we demand life to play by our rules, we suffer. The Stoics understood this centuries ago. They realized that the only true domain of power we possess is internal: our mind, our character, our actions. Let me share a story. Years ago, I met a man in his 60s, a retired firefighter. His life had been a storm: sudden job loss, the death of his wife, health issues that would break most men. Yet when I asked him how he endured all of that, he gave me a quiet smile and said, "I learned one thing: I can't control the world, but I can control myself." Those words stayed with me. Because think about it, how many of us live the exact opposite way? We try to bend reality to our desires. We curse the traffic instead of mastering our temper. We obsess over what people think instead of governing our own conscience. And every time we do, we hand over our peace to something we can't command. Imagine this. You're stuck in a traffic jam, late for an important meeting. Your pulse rises, frustration burns, words you'll regret start forming on your tongue. Now stop and ask, can you move those cars? Can you part the sea of red brake lights? No. The outside is fixed for now, but inside there's a whole empire waiting for your command. You can choose to breathe deeply, to turn on that podcast you've been meaning to listen to call someone you love, to simply let go of what's beyond you and hold what is yours. That is real power, the kind no circumstance can steal. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor, wrote in his journal, "Today I shall meet with the ungrateful, the arrogant, the deceitful, yet none of them can harm me, for I will not let them." That wasn't arrogance, it was clarity. Marcus understood that other people's actions do not define your peace, your reaction does. Here's a question for you. How much of your life right now is driven by things you cannot control, the opinions of others, the economy, the aging of your body, the weather tomorrow? And how much time do you waste trying to fight those tides instead of learning to sail with them? The Stoics gave us a simple map, and it's called the dichotomy of control. On one side are things within your power, your thoughts, your actions, your judgments. On the other, everything else, fate, fortune, the turning of the earth. When you live on the first side, you're a master. When you live on the second, you're a slave. And the chains are forged not by life, but by your own refusal to accept its terms. Now let me tell you something that might sting. Most of our misery isn't caused by events. It's caused by our interpretation of them. Two men lose a job. One spirals into despair, convinced his life is over. The other sees an open door and steps into a new season. Same event, different story. Which one will you choose to tell when hardship comes? Because it will come. No philosophy, no belief system, no prayer will keep every storm from your door. But Stoicism doesn't promise calm seas, it trains you to be a better sailor. It teaches you to stop praying for the wind to change and start adjusting your sails. And here's the secret. When you stop demanding life to bend for you, life stops breaking you. So how do we start small? Tomorrow morning, before your feet touch the floor, remind yourself, some things are mine, some things are not. I will pour my energy only into what is mine. Repeat it until it becomes instinct. When frustration comes knocking, ask, is this within my control? If the answer is no, release it like smoke from your hand. If the answer is yes, act with courage and clarity. That's it. That's the discipline that turns chaos into calm. And maybe, just maybe, one day someone will ask you, as I asked that old firefighter, how you stayed so steady when the world was on fire. And you'll smile and say, I learned one thing: I can't control the world, but I can control myself. The lesson: when you know the borders of your power, life feels lighter. You stop being dragged by every wave and start standing like the rock in the tide. That's the kind of freedom no fortune, no fame, no accident can take away. Lesson 2. Stop wasting energy on what you can't control. How much of your life is spent worrying about things that were never yours to command? Be honest. How many nights have you lost sleep over someone's opinion of you? How many hours have you burned replaying a conversation, wishing you had said something different? We do this because we believe on some deep, almost unconscious level that if we think hard enough, if we stress long enough, we can bend reality to our will. But the truth, that's an illusion. The Stoics had a term for this mental trap: the slavery of externals. It's the state of being chained to things that live outside your circle of control, other people's choices, the turning of the economy, the weather tomorrow, even the beating of your own heart. We think freedom means controlling these things, but that's a cruel joke. Freedom isn't having power over everything, it's releasing the need to. Picture this. You're at work. Your boss criticizes a project you poured weeks into. Your first impulse: defend yourself. Argue. Prove you're right. Because deep down you crave control over how you're seen. But let me ask, does arguing guarantee their opinion will change? Of course not. You can influence, yes, but control never. So why hand over your peace for something so fragile? Here's the hard truth. Every ounce of energy you spend trying to command what isn't yours is energy, stolen from what is your thoughts, your character, your actions. It's like trying to stop a storm with your bare hands while your own roof is leaking. You can't calm the sky, but you can fix your home. And in life, that home is you. Epictetus said it best. Some things are in our control and some are not. Within our control are opinion, pursuit, desire, aversion, and in a word, whatever, are our own actions. Not in our control are body, property, reputation, command, and in a word, whatever, are not our own actions. Read that again. Your body, even that isn't fully yours. You can take care of it, but you can't stop it from aging. Your reputation, you can live with integrity, but you can't force others to speak well of you. If your happiness depends on those things, you've built your life on sand. So what's the solution? Draw the line. Imagine 2 columns on a sheet of paper. On the left, things you can control. On the right, everything else. Fill them out. The list on the right will be far longer, and that's okay. Because the secret isn't to shrink that list, it's to stop fighting it. And here's the beauty. When you stop wasting your strength on the uncontrollable, you suddenly have power you didn't know you had. Power to improve your habits. Power to keep promises to yourself. Power to respond with calm when others lose theirs. That's the energy that builds unshakable peace. The next time life tempts you to grab the wheel where you have no steering, pause and ask, is this mine? If it's not, let it go. If it is, give it everything. That is Stoicism in action. That is the art of living free. Lesson 3. Everything passes. Learn to hold lightly. Have you ever noticed how the happiest moments of life slip through your fingers like water? A family dinner full of laughter. A morning when your body feels strong. The sound of someone's voice you thought you'd hear forever, and then gone. We cling to them, desperate to make them stay, and when they don't, we ache. But the Stoics would say, of course they don't stay. They were never meant to. Everything is temporary. Joy is a guest. So is pain. They both knock on your door, stay for a while, and then move on. But what do? We grab at joy, terrified it will leave, and we run from pain as if we can outrun life itself. And in that struggle, we suffer twice, once from the event, and again from our refusal to accept what is. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Soon you will have forgotten all things. Soon all things will have forgotten you." That sounds grim, but it's not meant to depress. It's meant to liberate. When you understand that everything passes, you stop trying to possess what was never yours to keep. You start to hold life lightly. Think about this. That car you love will rust. That face in the mirror will age. The people you adore, they too will leave, whether by choice or by fate. This is not cruelty. This is nature. And the sooner we make peace with that truth, the sooner we start to live not tomorrow, not one day, but now. Ask yourself, how many times have you postponed happiness? I'll relax when the kids graduate. I'll travel when I retire. I'll enjoy life when I've saved enough. And then the years pass and you realize the future you were saving for never arrived the way you imagined. The Stoic answer: stop waiting. Life is not on layaway. So how do we live this out? By practicing gratitude with urgency, by looking at the coffee in your hand and saying, "This moment will never come back. Let me taste it fully." By sitting across from someone you love and thinking, "One day this chair will be empty, so let me listen as if it's the last time." That awareness does not darken joy, it deepens it. And what about pain? It too will pass. That grief that feels endless will one day soften. That storm you think will break you will run out of rain. Remember this the next time suffering knocks. It's a guest, not a life sentence. The lesson. Impermanence is not the enemy, it's the teacher. It whispers, hold nothing too tightly. Cherish everything while it's here. When you live this way, you stop fearing the clock and start embracing the moment. You stop clutching life and begin to dance with it. That is freedom. That is peace. Lesson 4. Strength is forged in hardship, not comfort. We live in an age that worships comfort. Softer beds, faster food, endless entertainment. Everything designed to shield us from even the smallest discomfort. But here's the paradox. The more comfort we chase, the weaker we become. And the weaker we become, the more life hurts us. The Stoics knew this well. They didn't run from discomfort, they sought it out not as punishment, but as training. They understood that storms reveal what calm seas cannot. Seneca said, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." Strength is not an accident, it's the result of resistance. Let me share a story. A friend of mine, a retired Navy officer, told me about their survival training. They would spend days in freezing water hours without food nights, with no shelter. Why? Because when real danger came, they didn't want to panic. They wanted to act. And they knew panic happens when you meet discomfort for the first time in a crisis. Most people live so shielded that when life throws a storm, they shatter. A job loss feels like the end of the world. A harsh word feels like a mortal wound. But imagine if you trained your mind and body for the unexpected. What if you practiced hardship before life forced it on you? Start small. Sleep on the floor once a month. Take a cold shower. Skip a meal, not to punish yourself, but to prove that you can. Each act whispers to your soul. Comfort is optional. Strength is not. And with every small victory, fear begins to shrink. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his journal, "Ask yourself what is so unbearable about this. You will find that the pain is manageable, that you can endure it." That is the heart of Stoicism, not pretending life is easy, but preparing so it doesn't break you when it's hard. Here's the truth. You don't need an easier life. You need a stronger self. Stop praying for calm seas. Learn to steer in storms. Stop waiting for the world to be gentle. Become unshakable instead. Because here's the secret. When you embrace hardship on your terms, life's surprises lose their power to terrify you. You'll still feel the wind, the rain, the cold, but inside there will be a stillness that nothing can move. And that stillness, that's freedom, that's strength. Lesson 5. Face loss before it faces you. Why do we fear so deeply? Why does the thought of losing money, health, or someone we love paralyze us? It's not the loss itself, it's the surprise of it. We walk through life as if permanence is promised, and when reality proves us wrong, we break. But the Stoics had a remedy for this fragility: premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. At first glance, it sounds grim, imagining disaster before it strikes. But this is not about drowning in dread. It's about building mental armor. Seneca said, "He robs present ills of their power who has prepared for them in advance." When you rehearse hardship in your mind, you blunt its blade before it cuts. Picture this. You wake up tomorrow and everything you treasure is gone. Your home, your health, the people you love. Pause there. Feel the ache. Now return to reality where they are still here for now. That exercise doesn't steal joy. It amplifies it. Suddenly, the coffee in your hand tastes richer. The voice in the next room sounds like music. Gratitude blooms where entitlement once lived. And when loss finally comes, as it will, you will not collapse under its weight. You'll hurt, yes. But hurt and destruction are not the same. You'll bend without breaking because your mind has already walked that dark road. You've faced the worst in thought, so reality feels less monstrous when it arrives. Here's the truth. Fear thrives in the shadows of the unimagined. Bring it into the light, and it shrinks. Practice this often. At night before sleep, whisper to yourself, "This could be my last sunrise. This could be the last time I hear this voice. Let me love fiercely while I can." That isn't morbid, it's wisdom. The Stoics didn't rehearse loss to live in fear. They did it to live in fullness. To remind themselves, life owes us nothing. Every gift is on loan. And when you live that way, you stop clutching, stop delaying, and start living like someone who knows time is short because it is. So the next time your mind whispers, "What if I lose this answer calmly?" I already have in my mind. And I am still here. That is strength. That is freedom. Lesson 6. Discipline is the doorway to freedom. People think freedom means doing whatever you want, whenever you want. But ask yourself, does that really make you free? Or does it make you a slave to every craving, every mood, every impulse that passes through your mind? Real freedom doesn't come from following every desire. It comes from mastering yourself. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Think about it. The person who can't control their anger, are they free? The one who can't put down the phone, are they in charge, or is the screen? The person who can't stop drinking, scrolling, spending, who's really calling the shots? We call that freedom, but it's not. It's chains, just invisible ones. Discipline is the key that unlocks those chains. When you keep a promise to yourself when you wake up early, finish what you start, walk away from temptation, you prove something powerful: I rule me. Nothing else does. So the next time you think discipline is hard, remember this. So is regret. Which pain would you rather carry, the pain of discipline today or the pain of weakness for a lifetime? Choose discipline, because that pain sets you free. Lesson 7. Stop asking for an easier life. Become stronger. Instead, we spend so much time praying for calm seas. We ask for fewer problems, fewer setbacks, fewer storms. But let me ask you, what happens when the storm comes anyway? What happens when life refuses to bend to your comfort? You break. Because all that time you were asking for easier winds, you forgot to build stronger sails. The truth is, life doesn't care about your comfort. It doesn't care about your plans. It doesn't care about your perfect little timeline. It will test you. It will throw winds you didn't expect and waves you didn't plan for. And in those moments, the question is never, why me? The real question is, what now? The Stoics didn't pray for a world without storms. They prepared to steer through them. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his journal, "Do not pray for life to be easier, pray to be stronger." He understood that peace isn't found in calm waters, it's found in the mind that knows how to sail in chaos. Think about it like this. You can spend your whole life wishing for a smaller load, or you can build a stronger back. Which one do you think gives you real power? Which one lasts? The world will never stop being unpredictable. People will disappoint you. Money will come and go. Health will rise and fall. You can't rewrite those rules, but you can rewrite yourself. How? By treating every obstacle as training. The next time something hard hits you, a layoff, an argument, an illness, pause and ask, what muscle is this moment asking me to build? Maybe it's patience. Maybe it's courage. Maybe it's the ability to let go. Every challenge carries a hidden weight that if you lift it, makes you stronger than before. This is why some people collapse under pressure while others rise. It's not luck. It's not fate. It's training. The strong aren't those who had easy lives. They're the ones who used hardship as a gym. They didn't avoid the weight. They picked it up. They didn't curse the storm. They learned to steer in it. So stop wasting breath on, why is this happening to me? Ask instead, how can this make me better? Because every blow life lands can either crush you or carve you. And the difference isn't the blow, it's what you do next. You don't need an easier life. You need a stronger you. So build it. Every day. In the small choices, in the quiet moments, in the storms you didn't see coming. Because one day when the wind roars and the waves rise, you won't panic. You'll smile, you'll grip the wheel, and you'll whisper to yourself, I was made for this. Lesson 8. Win battles with silence. Not every fight is worth your sword. Not every insult deserves your reply. Sometimes the greatest power you can show is none at all. Think about the last time someone tried to provoke you, an unfair comment, a cutting remark. What did you do? Most people fire back. Why? Because we believe silence makes us look weak. But here's the truth. Silence is not weakness. Silence is mastery. Marcus Aurelius said, "You always own the option of having no opinion. Things not in your control have no hold on you." Do you understand how radical that is? You don't have to play every game the world invites you to. You don't have to join every argument. You don't have to let someone else's chaos enter your peace. Ask yourself, how many times have you spoken in anger and regretted it later? How many relationships have cracked under words that didn't need to be said? Stoicism teaches us this. The words you don't speak can be just as powerful as the ones you do. When someone mocks you, let them. When someone misunderstands you, let them. You don't have to correct every rumor, defend every opinion, or justify every choice. Why? Because peace isn't found in winning debates, it's found in winning yourself. Silence is not about being passive, it's about choosing your ground. It's saying, this fight does not deserve my energy, my time, my mind. Every word you speak costs something. Spend it wisely. Next time anger rises in your throat, pause. Ask, if I respond, will this make me better? Will it make them better? Or will it just make noise? Most of the time the answer is silence. Because here's the secret. The one who controls their tongue controls the room. The loudest voice is rarely the strongest. It's the calm one, the steady one. The one who knows that true strength doesn't need to shout. So let the world roar. Let them throw their stones of gossip, insult, misunderstanding. You stand still. Speak only when your words can plant peace or build truth. That is how you win battles without ever lifting a sword. Lesson 9. Love your fate. Amor fati. Life will not always hand you what you want. Sometimes it will hand you loss. Sometimes betrayal. Sometimes a door slammed so hard it rattles your soul. And in those moments, most people curse fate. They ask, why me, why now? But the Stoics had a different answer. Amor fati, love your fate. Not tolerate it, not endure it. Love it. Every twist, every blow, every detour. Why? Because they believed nothing happens outside the order of nature. And if it comes to you, it was meant for you not as punishment, but as raw material for growth. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "A blazing fire makes flame and brightness out of everything thrown into it." That's you. The world will toss in logs, some good, some bad. Your job, burn it all into light. Think about the hardest thing you've faced. Did it not shape you? Did it not teach you something? Soft days never could. Pain is a cruel teacher, but it is the most honest one you'll ever have. It shows you what's real. It burns away illusions. And when it leaves you stronger if you let it. Amor fati doesn't mean you smile at tragedy with fake cheer. It means you refuse to waste suffering. You refuse to ask life to rewrite itself for your comfort. You look at every blow and say, "You will not break me. You will build me." Imagine living this way. No resistance, no bitterness. Just acceptance so deep that every obstacle becomes a tool. Every loss becomes a lesson. Every pain becomes fuel. That's not surrender, that's power. Because when you stop fighting reality, reality loses its power to wound you. So the next time fate writes a chapter you didn't plan, don't rip the page. Read it, learn it, use it, love it. Because amor fati is more than a phrase. It's the art of turning everything into strength. Lesson 10. Stop living for applause. One day your name will vanish. The praise, the titles, the compliments, they'll all fade like footprints in the sand. Harsh truth. Maybe, but liberating truth absolutely. We live in a world obsessed with recognition. Social media status, fame, it's all a race to be seen. But tell me this. When did applause ever make someone truly strong? When did the number of likes on a screen ever give someone peace? Marcus Aurelius, an emperor with the whole world watching, wrote in his journal, "Soon you will have forgotten all things, and soon all things will have forgotten you." If he, the most powerful man on earth, needed that reminder, how much more do we? Here's the problem with living for approval. It puts your happiness in someone else's pocket. You wake up happy because they praised you. You go to bed broken because they ignored you. That's not living, that's slavery dressed as success. What's the Stoic alternative? Live by principles, not by applause. Let virtue, not vanity, be your compass. Do what's right, not what looks good. And when you do, you'll feel something applause can never give integrity. Try this test. Before you act, ask, would I still do this if no one knew? If no one clapped? If no one cared? If the answer is yes, that's freedom, that's character. The truth is, you don't need the world to remember your name. You need to remember who you are. So stop performing. Stop chasing validation like a starving dog chasing scraps. Walk your path, quietly, firmly, faithfully. Because the loudest applause in the world is worthless compared to the quiet voice inside that whispers, "Well done." Lesson 11. The only comparison that matters. We live in a culture addicted to comparison. Everywhere you look, someone seems richer, younger, stronger, happier. And what do? We measure ourselves against them and bleed inside because we don't measure up. But the Stoics would say this: the only person you should compare yourself to is the one you were yesterday. Why? Because their life is not yours. Their path is not yours. You were not built for their destiny, and they were not built for yours. Seneca wrote, "How long will you delay being wise? You have been given time, but you waste it looking at others. When you look left and right, you lose sight of the road in front of you. And that road is the only one that matters." Ask yourself, did you show more patience today than yesterday? Did you let fewer things disturb your peace? Did you choose courage over comfort even once? That's the scoreboard that matters, not how many followers they have, not what car they drive, not what wrinkles they don't yet have. Comparison is a thief, but only if you invite it in. You can shut the door. How by turning envy into inspiration? If someone's ahead of you, let that push you to grow without bitterness, without self-hate. Their success doesn't shrink you. It just shows what's possible. Here's the truth. You will never win the game of measuring yourself against the world because the rules keep changing. There will always be someone younger, wealthier, fitter, smarter. But none of them matter when you realize the only real contest is the one between who you were and who you are becoming. So, tomorrow morning, don't ask, am I better than them? Ask, am I better than yesterday? If the answer is yes, even by an inch, you're winning the only race that matters. Lesson 12. Remember death and start living. We walk through life as if we have all the time in the world. We plan years ahead. We delay dreams. We tell ourselves one day when things settle, when I have more money, when I retire, then I'll really live. But what if that one day never comes? The Stoics had a practice called memento mori. Remember you will die. Not to scare you, but to wake you up, to remind you that time isn't a guarantee, it's a gift. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think." Harsh, maybe, but think about it. How many sunsets have you rushed through, barely noticing the colors? How many conversations with people you love have you half-lived because your eyes were on a screen? We live like immortals until tragedy slaps us awake. When you carry death as a teacher, everything changes. You stop postponing joy. You stop wasting days on petty grudges, shallow pursuits, empty noise. You stop living for someday and start living for today. Because someday is a lie life loves to tell. Here's a thought experiment. If you had 24 hours left, what would matter? That argument, that jealousy, that extra zero in your bank account? Or would it be the hug you didn't give, the words you didn't say, the dream you didn't chase? Death is not the enemy. It's the reminder. It whispers, hurry not in panic, but in purpose. Don't waste the breath you can never buy back. So write the letter. Take the walk. Tell them you love them. And above all, stop waiting to live. Because the truth is, you're not running out of time someday, you're running out of time now. Memento mori isn't about fearing death. It's about fearing the real tragedy reaching the end and realizing you never truly lived. Lesson 13. Your mind creates your world. Two people face the same storm. One sees disaster, the other sees a challenge. Same wind, same waves, different worlds. Why? Because the world you live in is not the one outside. It's the one inside. The Stoics understood this truth. Events are neutral. Your judgment gives them weight. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment." Think about the last time you failed. Did that failure destroy you? Or did your interpretation of it, your belief that it meant you were worthless, do the real damage reality doesn't speak? It doesn't label. You do. And that means you can choose a different story. This isn't about denial. It's not pretending a loss isn't painful. It's about refusing to add unnecessary suffering. A setback can be the end or the beginning. A harsh word can be an insult or a mirror. A delay can be a punishment or a gift of time. Which one is it that depends on your mind? Modern psychology confirms what the Stoics knew. Our thoughts shape our emotions, and our emotions shape our actions. Change the lens, and you change the landscape. Here's a challenge. Tomorrow when something goes wrong, traffic criticism, plans falling apart, pause and ask, what else could this mean? How can this serve me instead of sink me? That question alone can turn chaos into clarity. Because here's the truth. Life doesn't break you. Your perspective does. And the moment you master that, the world becomes less of a battlefield and more of a classroom. Every problem becomes a lesson. Every wound becomes a teacher. So guard your thoughts like treasure, because they are. They're not just words in your head, they're architects of your reality. Build something strong. Build something true. Lesson 14. Stop chasing when I have everything. How many times have you said, I'll be happy when I buy that house, when I retire, when the kids grow up, when I finally have enough money to breathe? And yet, have you noticed every time you get there, happiness moves further away? This is the greatest trap of modern life, believing happiness is a destination. But the Stoics knew better. They knew happiness isn't waiting at the top of some mountain, it's in the way you walk up the hill. Epictetus wrote, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." Read that again. Fewer wants. Because if happiness depends on the next thing, you'll never stop chasing and you'll never arrive. Picture this. A man spends decades grinding for success. He sacrifices his health, his family, his peace because he believes the summit will make it all worth it. And then he gets there and feels nothing. So he sets another summit and another until the years are gone and he realizes he climbed every mountain but never once stopped to feel the sun. Don't make that mistake. The good life isn't out there in the future, it's here in this moment if you choose to see it. It's in the coffee warming your hands, the laughter that catches you off guard, the breath you're taking right now, the one you didn't earn but received as a gift. Does that mean you stop striving? No. Stoicism doesn't preach laziness, it preaches freedom. Work, build, dream big. But do it without the illusion that more will complete you. Let your joy come from progress, from character, from living with integrity, not from chasing an ever-moving finish line. So next time your mind whispers, "I'll be happy when..." Stop it. Ask instead, "How can I be grateful now?" Because if you can't find contentment on the road, you won't find it at the destination. Happiness isn't a prize at the end. It's a way of walking, and you can start today. Lesson 15. Turn pain into power. No one escapes pain. Not you, not me, not the wisest philosopher or the richest billionaire. Life will cut you. It will betray, disappoint, break your heart. And most people spend their whole existence running from that truth, hiding, numbing, avoiding. But here's the secret: the Stoics knew pain isn't the enemy. Wasting it is. Seneca wrote, "Fire tests, gold adversity tests, brave men." Pain isn't punishment, it's a forge. The heat you feel now, the heartbreak, the setback, the humiliation, that's the fire shaping you. The question is, will you let it destroy you, or will you let it refine you? Think about your own life. The deepest strength you have today, where did it come from? From easy days, from perfect seasons, or from the nights you thought you wouldn't survive but did? Those moments weren't curses, they were classrooms, and you paid for them in tears. Don't leave without the lesson. The next time pain shows up, don't just ask, "Why me?" Ask, "What for? What skill is this teaching me? What weakness is it burning away?" Maybe it's showing you resilience. Maybe it's building empathy. Maybe it's stripping you of ego so you can stand humble and free. And here's something powerful. When you stop fearing pain, you stop being its victim. You start using it. You pick it up like a weapon and say, "This won't break me. It will build me. It will sharpen me. It will make me dangerous in the best way." You can't choose a life without suffering, but you can choose what suffering makes of you. Let it carve depth where there was shallowness. Let it plant strength where there was fear. Let it leave you so unshakable that the world looks at you and wonders, how did they endure that and still stand tall? The answer will be simple. You didn't just survive pain, you transformed it. And in doing so, you found the kind of power comfort could never give. Lesson 16. Freedom from yourself. The hardest prison to escape isn't built from steel. It's built inside your own mind. Most people think they're free because they can go wherever they want, say whatever they like, buy whatever they desire. But tell me if you can't stop yourself from scrolling for hours, if you lash out every time you're angry, if you crumble. The moment life says no, are you free? The Stoics would say no. Because true freedom isn't doing what you feel like, it's not being ruled by your feelings at all. Epictetus said no man is free who is not master of himself. If you're chained to impulses, cravings, fears, you're not free. You're a puppet and the strings are in your own hands. Think of the last time you lost control, when a small comment ruined your day, when a craving broke your promise, when laziness stole your morning. It wasn't the world that defeated you, it was you. And that's the most dangerous enemy, the one inside. But here's the hope. You can cut those strings. You can train your mind to obey you instead of betray you. How? Start small. When you want to explode, breathe instead. When you want to quit, hold the line for 5 more minutes. When comfort whispers, rest, answer, not yet. Every act of self-mastery adds a link to the chain of real freedom. Because the day will come when storms rage, insults fly, losses hit, and you'll stand calm. Not because the world changed, but because you did. You won't need to control life to feel strong. You'll be strong enough to let life be what it is. Freedom from yourself. That's the highest freedom. Because no tyrant is crueler than an undisciplined mind, and no kingdom is richer than one who rules himself. Lesson 17. Strength is not numbness. When people hear Stoic, they often picture someone cold, untouched by feeling frozen like a statue. But that's not strength, that's stone. And you, my friend, were not made of stone. True strength is not the absence of emotion. It's the mastery of it. It's feeling everything: loss, love, pain, joy, without becoming a slave to any of it. It's tears that flow without shame, and anger that burns without destroying. It's being soft enough to care, but strong enough to stay calm when caring hurts. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself." Why? Because life demands both courage and compassion. You can't shut down your heart to protect your peace. That's not peace, that's exile. The Stoic stands in the storm, feels the rain on his face, and whispers, "This too is life." Imagine this. Someone you love walks away. The weak man collapses. The cold man pretends he doesn't care. But the strong man, he feels the ache. He honors it. And then he chooses not bitterness, not despair, but forward motion. That is Stoicism. Because here's the truth. If you can't feel, you can't love. If you can't love, you can't live. Strength isn't shutting the door on emotion, it's building a foundation so solid that no emotion can wash it away. So don't harden, don't hide. Be fully alive and fully unshaken. Feel deeply. Stand firmly. Let your heart break if it must, but never let it break you. That's not weakness. That's the highest form of power. You made it to the end, and that tells me something powerful. You're serious about building an unshakable mind. So here's your reward. My free ebook, The Stoic Path to Unshakable Peace, 12 Timeless Lessons for a Stronger Mind. You'll find the link in the description below. Click it, download your copy, and start applying these lessons in your life today. Don't just read it, live it. If this video helped you, share it with someone who needs strength right now, and make sure to subscribe so you never miss the next lesson. Until then, remember, storms will come, but you can be the calm in the storm. Stay strong and stay free.